What's going on, everybody? This is Benjamin Bachtrop bringing you another F122 video. Today looking at the featured event for this week, which is Verstappen at Miami. So you're going to be starting in P4 as Max Verstappen and looking to recreate his win at the Miami GP. Although actually I don't remember how the race ends, so I don't know if this is actually how the race went in real life. But anyway, I think the quickest way to do this is to pit on the first lap. I'm pretty sure it is, just because your tires are like 57, 56% when you start this little featured event. So I opted to pit on the first lap. I did a couple of runs where I went like 1 or 2 laps, but just didn't have the skill to control the car. So now you find yourself in P8 coming out of the pits, but you are on a brand new set of soft tires here and looking to overtake everybody on track. This one was rather easy compared to last week's featured event at Imola, because at Imola I was playing it at 100 AI difficulty and it was almost impossible for me. It took me until almost Friday, but this one is at 105 here. Today is Tuesday. I just tried this out for the first time like an hour ago or something like that. Tried it at 100, didn't beat it just because I kept speeding into the pit lane, but this time I managed to actually enter the pit lane under the speed limit. So this is the first one we actually completed, and yeah, the first one that first try at 105 that I actually beat. So yeah, not quite as difficult compared to last week's Imola one. But anyway, this one's kind of odd, just because you're so far back, you feel like you're not going to be able to beat it, and then a whole bunch of crap happens, at least for my race anyway, and we end up catching up to the AI and beating them. As you can see, Lewis Hamilton's fastest lap is not really that fast at all. 132, I believe it was. My personal best here in time trial is a 127. Let me check. A 127.458. Which actually isn't even that fast either. I think it's only good enough for like 3,000th or 4,000th on time trial. So it's a rather slow lap. I think the world record is in the 125s or 124s. But even with me being 2 seconds off of world record pace, this still wasn't that difficult at 105. So I'll skip ahead into when we actually start catching up to people. So we've skipped ahead now to lap 50. As you can see, Perez has jumped both Alonso and Bottas. So now up is Alonso. And you probably want to save your ERS for the back straight, unlike me, who wasted a whole bunch of ERS trying to catch up to these guys. But I think these cars are set to realistic, so even without the ERS, you should still be able to overtake these guys. You can see their top speed on the straight line isn't really that great compared to like in GP mode, where if you're playing in equal cars. I'm not sure about realistic settings. I usually always play with equal cars, but yeah, it wasn't that difficult to catch up to them and just dive down on the inside. Even at 105, they don't battle too hard, so it wasn't too difficult to get out in front of Alonso. Up next, Bottas on really old hards. Again, you're on fresh soft, so this shouldn't be too difficult. But yeah, you'll have to watch out for traffic, because there were more than one occasion where I caught up to Vettel and he ended up getting in the way, and I lost my front wing, having to reset, I think maybe like 2 or 3 times. I only ran this about a handful of times or so. But yeah, it seems like half the time I ran it, I always ran into Vettel, who just would not get out of the way until some really weird corner, and then I always ended up in the back of him. But as you can see there, it's not that difficult to close the gap up to Bottas. And then coming down this straight here, I don't even have much battery left, and just using DRS and I think maybe a little bit of battery. Nah, no battery at all, really. Hanging around the outside, and then using our superior tires to get around him here. Like I said, I'm not really that great on this map, this track. I'm thinking of War Thunder. On this track, and even with our slow lap time, we were still able to complete this at 105. So yeah, don't get discouraged. Just keep at it. I think I only ran like 1 or 2 races on this track since this game came out, so I'm not really good at this track here. But yeah, look, it doesn't even take much. We're already up to P6, and then Perez and Hamilton up front. And once we catch up to these guys, I think we're blessed by the RNG gods here because you'll see in a moment here. I thought maybe down the straight I might be able to get Hamilton and Perez. At the very least, I thought I'd be able to get Hamilton here as they're on Hamilton's on medium compound tires. So I thought maybe I might be able to get him on the exit. Got a terrible exit. Hamilton got a really good exit, and I thought, oh crap, it'll be a couple more laps. This is already lap 53, about to start lap 54, so I was expecting to have to reset at some point, but as you can see here, all of a sudden the Ferraris are right out in front of us. I think maybe, who is that? Is that Schumacher or Magnussen? I think there's a Haas out in front there slowing everybody up. And then it's Magnussen. And yeah, here, as you can see here, Magnussen just holds up Perez and Hamilton. And then we're able to get right onto the back of the Ferraris here. Having a little bit of trouble with Perez there through that left-hand corner. But yeah, even at 105 difficulty, that wasn't really difficult at all. And then we get behind Leclerc just in time for this DRS zone here. And then we just use this DRS zone to catch up to the back of Leclerc. And then we should be close enough to get him on the back straight with DRS. Or am I not that patient? Oh, no, I just send it down the outside there. He is on hard compound tires, as is Sainz, so they're going to be really, really slow. Yeah, like I said, the featured event here compared to the featured event at Imola is day and night. Even Sainz even having a moment through that chicane there. This was really, really easy. I think I only ran this like 4 or 5 times, but the Imola one I ran almost 2 hours every day for 4 days before I actually beat it at 100. You know, granted that was in the wet and this one was pretty much all in the dry, but this is probably my worst track in this entire game. So the AI must be really really, really nerfed at this track, just because I was surprised at how well I did at 105. And yeah, even Russell in P1 is not really pulling away that much. He is on older medium compound tires as well, but we get Sainz, or we don't get Sainz, but we're sticking close to Sainz through almost this entire track. I was expecting a little bit more of a fight, almost having to ride the brakes to not slam into the back of him here. And then at the end, having to double check the difficulty to make sure that I was at 105 and not at 100 still. So this yellow flag is for Vettel, who seems to always DNF at this point in the race. Using the DRS to get by Sainz there, and again, really not that difficult. And now it's just a matter of using the last 2.5 laps to close in on Russell. And just through this final sector here, you can see the gap dwindling down. So I'm not really sure what's going on here. I don't know if this is that adaptive AI system at work that's causing the AI to just slow down at certain portions of the race. Again, I don't really know how it's supposed to work, but after the Imola featured event and after this one now, there's a lot of wonky things going on with the AI. It turned what should have been a failed featured event run into probably one of the easiest ones that I've done, just because Magnussen holding up practically 4 cars with 4 laps to go helped me secure this win. So yeah, and you can see on screen right now, we're still closing that gap to Russell, and I'm not driving amazingly well either. I think you can see my best lap up there is 130.060, which is, I think, 6 seconds off world record pace. I know that time trial is different from actual races, but still, that's a huge discrepancy in lap times. Almost close enough to get DRS off of Russell here, but I don't think we're not even going to need it, just judging by the way the last couple of laps have run. And then by the time we get down to this left-hand turn here, this corner here, we're pretty much already within DRS, and I didn't even have to use overtake there. So I don't know. Maybe it's just because the Red Bull is the fastest car in realistic mode that is making the AI really, really slow. And we were in a McLaren last week, which would probably explain why I was so slow compared to the AI, and then I'm super fast compared to them in this race here. But yeah, I don't even have much battery left and we're still just still getting by him. He doesn't really challenge us into this last corner, and then that's pretty much it. So, yeah, like I said, this is truly at 105. I'm not trying to pull your leg or anything like that. I'm sure it'll show up at the end when you see the leaderboards with all the scores and stuff like that. But yeah, I don't really know what to say. I don't really know why it was so difficult last week and then somewhat easier this week. But I know it's not my skill. I did not get that much better in the 4 days since I ran that last featured event. So if this is the adaptive AI at work, I don't really like it just because of the inconsistency of the difficulty of the AI. And you can see that even in Grand Prix mode, in some tracks that like Jeddah, you can play at 110 and win easily. It's the same as last year. Even in F1 2021, Jeddah was super easy compared to the AI. And then you have other tracks like Hungary, where the AI are just super OP. Even at 100 AI difficulty, I still have a hard time beating them at Hungary. So yeah, I don't really know what's going on. If this is an AI issue, if this is a known issue, and I just don't know about it. But if it is, if the AI difficulty consistency is an issue, then I hope they get it fixed. Just because it's really hard to practice, or really hard to gauge how fast you are if they're really slow at certain tracks on the same difficulty, and then at other tracks they're really fast. But anyway, whatever. We beat this at 105. I think the score was good enough to place us in the 30s somewhere on the leaderboards. It is still only Tuesday, and only about 2,000 people have played this so far. So I'm sure I'll be dropping drastically once everybody else who generally plays the weekly events gets in and finishes this weekly event. But yeah, I hope you enjoyed it. I don't really know if you could have picked up anything to help you here, just because the AI helped us out a lot in this race. I don't think I would have completed this normally had Magnussen not held up 4 cars in front of me. But yeah, I hope you enjoy, and I hope that Cody's fixes the AI, just because these featured events are really weird for me. But yeah, thank you for watching. If you think I've earned it, please leave a like, comment, or subscribe. Remember to eat your bok choy, and I'll see you guys in the next one.